Hello, welcome. We're going to talk about liver, and it's liver specifically in relationship to embodying yoga. So although it's not an entire anatomy lesson by any means, this presentation, this learning that I'm hoping you will enjoy, is about how we take the consciousness and allow it to express in our bodies in a way that it comes out through our movement and so on and so forth. And then how the movement, which is integrated back into the structure and it's all of its subtle consciousness, then also is something that we're experiencing more directly in the endeavor, this ongoing endeavor to know oneself so fully that one notices also the radiance of which we are essentially made. So, liver. Liver is, as you know, a large organ, and I can't mirror you because our livers are on our right side. And the large of your liver is very thick and strong over on its far right, coming up into your ribs, all the way around to the back abdominal wall there, supported by the arc of the thoracic diaphragm, right? So as the thoracic diaphragm moves, for example, on inhale and exhale, you can see that there's the possibility of a rocking and a rolling action that we can imagine or we can notice directly is soothing and comforting to liver. When the message is, yeah, we're okay here. When the message is hard and tight, the liver is involved in that, and they work together synergistically. All right, so there's a smaller side of the liver which comes over across your midline. So you want to look at this, of course, in anatomy books so that you're quite clear about what it is we're looking at in the thick and the depth of this tremendously strong organ. The liver has myriad functions, and those are the functions that we already recognize in Western, analysis and looking at pieces and seeing what they do and so on and so forth. And then in terms of yoga, we look at the underlying consciousness that is expressing through and actually creating and expressing through these tissues. One of the ways we can consider the liver is to be an organ that very much likes to be in charge. And in fact, I would say, doesn't even question it, sometimes referred to as the general of the body, right? Liver's in charge, at least according to liver. Directing so many functions, purifying blood, creating all kinds of things to go all over the body and affect mind and body into strength, right? So strength and power are liver qualities, very, very often thought to be anger. And you know what? Anger is a passionate feeling, and yes, liver does express anger. And liver, for the most part, will contain the anger and then allow, this stuff to come rippling through the body. So there's this anger center in a certain way about liver. But don't forget, it is a benevolence, because this liver, this general, really wants you to feel healthy, right? And good. That's, it's supportive of the rest of the entire system. So liver can contain and condense and create this embodiment of anger, which we often recognize as bile, a kind of burning, rah, right? And liver produces the bile, but then liver actually allows the bile to be stored way down, not way down, but below liver in the gallbladder, right? So the gallbladder is the storage place for this rah, of the liver to be expressed very specifically. And the gallbladder literally, of course, the bile digests fat, and the gallbladder literally shoots the bile, first of all, yes, into the duodenum, and the bile that is going into this digestive place of the duodenum is also being mixed, by the way, with the pancreatic sweetness, the anti-inflammation of the pancreas mixed with the fiery, gotta get it done, of the bile into this digestive process, which then goes into the small intestine, and we absorb, and we can hope that the balance in the small intestine of these digestive fluids will have created a situation for the small intestine, the absorption of our vitality and our life from the food, right, as it goes along. So back to liver with all of its important endocrine and blood and the stimulation that it gives to the other major organs, right? All of this is going on. And then also it has this emotional reality of, check it out, you better behave, do it right. Okay, no, we got this, we'll do this, right? Making constant decisions about what needs to be done, right? So I'm hoping that when, as I speak about this, that you can begin to embody it. Take the ideas, touch your liver, allow it to roll underneath the thoracic diaphragm. You'll begin to feel that it's definitely not imagination. These structures are moving in there. So if your liver is in here and the diaphragm is above it, right? And on the exhale, perhaps the liver decides to slide and tilt just a little. And on the inhale, the diaphragm comes back down on it. So I'm overdoing the movement, but you get the idea, right? It's almost like a joint here where the liver is under and the thoracic diaphragm can, right? I'm giving you the idea. This, your liver and your diaphragm don't do this much movement, but that's the way it feels inside. There's slidey membranes, fluid, slidey membranes that allow this inner movement that actually goes all the way through the organ system from our breathing processes, all right? So feeling into liver, we can inquire into our personal power, how we allow that to be expressed, right? Do we hold it back, contract, tighten, harden, freeze movement, stuff like that? Are we excessively like, no, you do this and you know, that's excessive? And that seems to relate also somewhat to the gallbladder. Because as the liver stores this power, certainly it can get congested and too tight, right? But as it stores this power, it does release bile into the gallbladder. And bile is in a way the messenger of the liver's disapproval, or saying, no, that has to go. That needs to be burned, like the fat, you know. No, that has to go. So where the liver has this strength, the gallbladder and the bile say, no, no. It's more like a shooting of it out, right? So your gallbladder is under there, and very often the gallbladder will get just a little bit glued up under the liver, and that's okay. I mean, it does happen, obviously, that we restrict in our bodies and we tighten these things, but it's never too late. It's never too late to go in there, and I'm not talking about poking, guys. I'm talking about allowing the down. You can literally release the gallbladder down from underneath the liver, creating more freedom, right? So I'm inviting you to play with the strength and the power of this beautiful organ, and to play with releasing its sac that contains part of what it excretes, the gallbladder, and to allow it to release down and just soften a little bit. It doesn't need to be going all the time, right? It's not necessary. So it can be a little bit softer down there. And then to play very specifically with the movement of the diaphragm above the liver, the movement of your liver underneath your diaphragm, the liver all the way into the back abdominal wall, sliding, feeling the liver move and respond to inhale and exhale. And then exploring, there's a real interesting junction here where the large intestine is rising up that right side, the ascending colon, and it dips back in your body, and then it comes around and arcs forward. And that flexure back here, all the way up here, is just right under the liver, and it's a big flexure in the colon there, and then it has to come around and forward. Look at it in anatomy books. This is another place where the liver can get a little bit glued, and this large intestine can get a little bit glued. Do you see how I'm moving? This is the way I move to unglue. I'm not doing the things we do in yoga, although I like to do them too, of this, right? If I'm going to do a big twist here where I would like to articulate this stuff, I'd be much more likely, first of all, not to do a big twist, to do this. This is more, this gives room for that movement in there. Whereas if I come around all the way kind of hard, it's very different and not quite so useful for creating the increase in the fluidity and the motility of the organ body. So there's a lot you can do with this, with the strength and the power of liver, literally using your awareness there in, for example, one of the warrior postures, right? And it's either side, so the liver can go with the power directed thusly, or I could be going, this could be the back arm. My liver's on the opposite side. My power, my strength, I just directed it to the back. Can I have them both? The liver, the liver, the full, the strong. Thank you.